The terrifying true story of my stalker. My name is Sophia. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to post one of these stories. I always assumed things like this only happened to other people until it happened to me. And even now, thinking back on it, I can't shake the feeling that he's still out there, watching, waiting. It started last summer. I had just moved into my first apartment, a small but decent one-bedroom on the third floor of a quiet complex. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I felt safe there, at least at first. The first time I noticed something off, it was small. I came home from work one evening and found my front door unlocked. I was sure I had locked it that morning, but I figured maybe I was just being forgetful. Nothing inside seemed out of place, so I brushed it off. Then, weird things started to happen. My kitchen cabinets would be open when I swore I had closed them. My bedroom door would be slightly ajar when I knew I had shut it. Then the texts started. The first one came around midnight. An unknown number. "You look tired today." I stared at the message, confused. I hadn't given my number to many people since moving here. I replied with a simple, "Who is this?" No response. The next night, another text. "You should lock your door." A chill ran down my spine. I double-checked the locks before going to bed, reassuring myself that I was just being paranoid. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe it was nothing. I told myself that until the night I woke up to the sound of my closet door creaking open. I bolted upright, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My room was dark, but the faint glow from the streetlight outside cast a sliver of light into the room, just enough to see the closet door, and it was open. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. For a long moment I just sat there, frozen, waiting to hear something, anything. Then ever so quietly I heard it, breathing, ragged, slow breathing coming from inside the closet. I don't remember grabbing my phone, but suddenly I had it in my hands, my fingers fumbling to dial 911. I barely choked out my address before I threw myself out of bed and ran for the front door. I didn't stop. I didn't turn around. I sprinted barefoot down 3 flights of stairs and out into the parking lot. The police arrived within minutes. They searched the apartment, but they didn't find anyone. No signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. But the closet door was still open, swaying slightly like it had just been moved. One of the officers stayed with me while I hesitantly stepped back inside. That's when I noticed something I hadn't before. The air vent near the floor, just big enough for a person to fit through, was slightly ajar. The maintenance team later found what I had feared the most: a hidden crawl space behind the walls, leading to a small maintenance access tunnel. Inside they found food wrappers, a blanket, and a phone. A phone that had been used to send me those texts. The police never found him. To this day, I still have nightmares about that breathing, about the thought of someone being inside my apartment, hiding, watching me. And sometimes, late at night, I wake up feeling like I'm being watched. Maybe it's just paranoia, or maybe he never really left. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content and to watch more scary videos. Please share with family and friends. The silent caller. It started with a phone call. No number, no voice, just breathing. At first I thought it was a prank, some kid messing around, but the calls kept coming. Every night, sometimes at 2 a.m., sometimes at 4. Always the same heavy breathing, like someone was standing right behind me, just waiting for me to say something. Then, one night, the caller finally spoke. In a low whisper, he said, "I see you." I hung up immediately, my heart pounding. But that was just the beginning. After that, I started noticing strange things. Footsteps in the snow outside my window. My garbage cans moved from where I left them. My back door unlocked when I knew for a fact I had locked it. One night I stayed up waiting for the call. Right on time, my phone buzzed. This time he didn't speak. Instead, I heard something faint in the background. At first I couldn't make it out. Then I realized it was my voice. He was playing a recording of me. I strained to listen, my blood turning to ice. It was from earlier that day when I had been at the grocery store. I could hear myself humming along to the music in the store's speakers. That meant he had been right behind me. I slammed my phone down, breathing hard. I reported it to the police the next day, but they couldn't trace the calls. Probably a spoofed number, they said. If it happens again, let us know. But that night there was no call, nor the next night, or the one after that. I told myself it was over. Maybe I had scared him off by getting the police involved. Maybe he had gotten bored. Then 3 weeks later I got a text. No number, no words, just a picture of me sleeping. Panic shot through me. I checked every door, every window. They were locked. I turned every light on in the house, my hands shaking. Then my phone buzzed again. Another picture. This time it was a shot from inside my closet. The door was cracked just enough to see my bed, to see me tossing and turning in my sleep. I ran. I didn't care if I looked crazy. I bolted outside straight to my car and drove to the police station. I showed them the texts, the pictures, my call logs. They took it seriously this time. They sent officers to my house, searched every inch. They found what I had been too scared to check. Inside my closet, behind my hanging clothes, there was a hole in the drywall, just big enough for someone to crawl between the walls, which led into the attic. And in the attic they found a sleeping bag, food wrappers, empty water bottles. He had been living there, watching me, waiting. The police never caught him. By the time they searched, he was gone. I moved out that week. I don't sleep without triple checking my locks anymore. I don't answer unknown calls. And sometimes in the dead of night, I swear I can still hear the faint sound of breathing when my phone is on silent. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content and to watch more scary videos. Please share with family and friends. The man in my closet. I'm a very independent 23-year-old woman loving every aspect of life. I used to think home was the one place where I was completely safe. That changed last summer. I had just moved into my first apartment, a small but decent one-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No roommates, no shared spaces, just me. And I loved that until I started noticing things. It started small. I'd come home from work and noticed my front door was unlocked. At first I thought I was just being forgetful. Then I'd wake up to find my bathroom light on when I was sure I had turned it off before bed. Weird, but nothing that couldn't be explained. Maybe I was just exhausted. Then one night I woke up to a sound, a soft, deliberate click, like a door closing. My heart nearly stopped. I laid there holding my breath, listening. The apartment was silent. I told myself I imagined it, but I still got up to check. The front door was locked. The windows were shut. Everything seemed normal except for one thing. My fridge was open. I knew I hadn't left it that way. After that, I started paying more attention. I placed small objects like a coin on top of my door handle before I left for work. Some nights I'd come home and the coin would be on the floor. Something was wrong. Someone had been inside. I called my landlord. He assured me that no one else had keys to my apartment. He even replaced my locks just to be safe. But the feeling didn't go away. I was being watched. I just knew it. One night I decided to set up my laptop's webcam before I went to sleep, just in case. I placed it on my desk, facing my bedroom door, and hit record. I woke up to find my closet door open. I never sleep with it open. My hands were shaking as I opened my laptop to check the footage. I skipped through hours of nothing, just me sleeping until around 3 a.m. The closet door slowly creaked open, and then movement. A figure tall, thin, and wearing dark clothing stepped out. I watched in horror as he stood there just feet away from my bed, watching me sleep. Minutes passed. He didn't move, just stood there in the darkness, heavy breathing. Then he turned and slipped back into the closet, disappearing into the dark. I never heard him. My stomach dropped. The footage didn't show him ever leaving my apartment. I was still in the apartment. I grabbed my phone, barely able to breathe, and called 911 while clutching a kitchen knife. I whispered to the dispatcher, explaining what I had just seen. The police arrived within minutes. They searched every inch of my apartment. Nothing. Then they checked the crawlspace access opening in the ceiling of my closet. That's where they found him. A man had been living in my apartment for who knows how long. He had been watching me, walking around while I slept, slipping into my room in the middle of the night. They pulled him out, kicking and screaming. His clothes were filthy, his eyes wild. But the worst part? When they searched the crawl space, they found something else. A collection of photos. Pictures of me taken while I showered or slept. I moved out that week. I don't sleep without checking every door, every closet, every corner of the room now. And to this day I can't shake the thought that still haunts me every time I close my eyes, of how long had he been there before I noticed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content and to watch more scary videos. Please share with family and friends.